Hi, I'm Niki and welcome to Movie Talk. It's been a while since I made the last episode, but now I'm back, and in this episode I would like to talk about another old obsolete video format.
Let's go back to the 1970s. In 1976, the VHS format was released, which became the standard home video format for almost 30 years. Another similar format called Betamax was released in 1975 and was competing with VHS. But ultimately, VHS won the format war. In 1978, another video format was introduced called Laserdisc. I already made a video about this format. Laserdisc was an optical format which had much better video and audio quality than VHS. But it still never became as popular as VHS, since the players and the movies were much more expensive, and you couldn't record on Laserdisc. The size of the disc might also be a contributing factor.
In 1981, yet another video format was introduced. The format was called CED, which stands for Capacitance Electronic Disc. It was developed by RCA, and this is what a CED movie looks like.
A CED disc is ridiculously huge. It's even bigger than a Laserdisc, but at least there's plenty of room for artwork on the covers, although most of my CED movies have pretty boring covers with a lot of empty space. In my Laserdisc video, I complained that Laserdiscs are quite heavy. A single disc movie weighs around 300 grams, but a CED movie weighs around 650 grams, so that's more than twice as heavy. CED is an analog video format, and the video is stored on a black disc similar to a vinyl record. And the disc is inside a plastic cover, and you can't take the disc out. Well, you could by force, but you're not supposed to, since the disc is very sensitive to dust. And this is a CED player. This one is made by Hitachi. So how do you put on a CED movie then? Well, you stick the whole plastic cover into the player, and then the player pulls the disc out. Then you pull the cover out again, and now the cover is empty. The disc is inside the player now. Really cool. And when you're done watching the movie, you just stick the empty cover into the player again, and then the disc goes back into the cover. A CED disc can store 60 minutes of video on each side of the disc, so you need to flip the disc to watch a whole movie. That's a bit annoying. In the corner of the covers, you can see which side of the disc you're inserting into the player. Some CED movies are white and some are blue. The blue ones means that the audio is in stereo, but it's also written on the covers. But let's put on a CED movie. This is Goldfinger, which was released on CED in 1983. So this is what the video quality looks like. It's not very impressive. There's a lot of static in the video, and there's also static in the audio.
That last draw was the 8 of hearts.
But the disc is 40 years old. Maybe there was less static when it was new.
Who are you?
Bond. James Bond.
CED is an analog format, so it doesn't have a pixel resolution. It has a horizontal resolution of 240 lines, which is similar to VHS. And CED movies are not in widescreen. They're cropped to fit old 4x3 TV screens, which was a standard practice back then. This is what Goldfinger looks like on CED and Blu-ray. The CED version is missing a lot of the picture. Let's put on another movie. This is The Fog, which was also released on CED in 1983. This movie has the same kind of static in the video and audio, so it might be a standard thing with CED. And I noticed a funny thing in this release. Take a look at this scene on CED and Blu-ray. The CED version can't fit all three characters in the picture, so the CED version focuses on the two women. But after a while, the picture pans to the left so we can see the guy. And it's not a smooth pan. I find this quite funny. When a disc is playing in my CED player, there is a red dot indicating how many minutes of the disc I've seen. It's not very precise though. The player also shows if I'm watching side 1 or side 2 of the disc, and the player can fast forward and rewind up to 16 times. So that's pretty fast. By the way, if I pause a movie, the screen just goes black, which is a bit annoying. It can't freeze a frame. I live in Europe where we have the PAL standard, so my CED player can only play PAL movies. I have Raiders of the Lost Ark and NTSC, which is the standard used in America. But when I put it on, I just get gray static. I can hear the sound though. Let's compare CED to VHS. I have Goldfinger on both formats, so let's take a look.
First, I have some unfinished business to attend to.
Well, there's no doubt about it. VHS is better. The picture is cleaner and sharper, and the colors are better. I also have Rocky on both formats, and it's the same result, VHS just looks better. But the superior video format back then was still Laserdisc, and I also have Goldfinger on Laserdisc, so here you can see all three formats. Laserdisc is the clear winner, and CED is the loser. I think the CED commercials from the 1980s might have exaggerated the format a bit.
The RCA video disc player lets you see great entertainment on your TV with a remarkable picture.
Remarkable picture? Yeah, right. Let's open up a cover to see what a CED disc actually looks like, even though you're not supposed to. It only takes a screwdriver to force it open. So this is what the disc looks like. It kinda looks like a black laser disc. It's even the same size. They're both 30 centimeters in diameter. But CED is not an optical format like Laserdisc. A CED disc is read physically with a stylus, just like a vinyl record, whereas a Laserdisc is read with a laser. One of the biggest problems with the CED format is that a movie sometimes skips frames or loops frames, which is usually caused by dust on the disc.
This girl here ain't feeling well. Doctor says she should go and exercise once in a while.
It's a common problem with the CED format. The disc is very sensitive. This is why the disc is stored inside a plastic cover, and there are fill strips inside it to wipe the disc from dust when it goes out of the cover. But still, dust is hard to avoid. All my CED movies skips or loops frames sometimes. That doesn't happen with VHS. But VHS had other problems.
RCA, who developed CED, estimated that a CED disc could be played about 500 times. I know 500 times is a lot, but it still sucks that a CED movie deteriorates every time you watch it.
It's because a CED disc is read physically with a stylus. A Laserdisc is read with a laser, so it doesn't deteriorate and can be played unlimited times. My copy of Rocky 2 on CED is in really bad shape. There's a lot of static and it constantly skips frames, so maybe this one has been played 499 times. I happen to own a CED movie that is brand new, which is 2001: A Space Odyssey, which was also released on CED in 1983. It's still factory sealed and has never been played before, so that's pretty cool. It's finally being opened after 40 years, so let's give it a watch.
This is my good friend, Dr. Haywood Floyd. I'd like you to meet Dr. Kalinin.
Well, I guess I hope there would be less static in the video and audio, but it's the same as the other movies. And this movie also skips frames once in a while.
As you might expect, the format never became popular, the players and the movies sold poorly, and the format was discontinued in 1984, only after 3 years. So that was the CED format. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, and I'll see you next time.